Cara heads into the house and walks quickly down the hall to the foyer. She tries to catch her breath as she opens the door. Craig and Maria are standing there holding a potato salad. Maria has on a white gown with light blue heels, while Craig is keeping it simple in a red dress shirt, blue shorts, and white Converse. "Hey, happy 4th!" Maria shrieked, hugging Cara. Craig stands there and waves. "Hey, Cara, happy 4th of July!" he shouts. "Hey, thank you so much. So good to see you guys. It's been a little while," Cara smiled, letting them inside. Craig nodded in agreement. "Yeah, we've been busy with work and stuff, but we couldn't miss your party this year. It's become a 4th of July tradition." Maria chuckled as she handed Cara the potato salad. "And we had to bring something. You know us, we can't show up empty-handed." Cara took the potato salad graciously. "You guys are the best. Come on, let's head out back. Everyone else is already here having their drinks and hanging out," she says, gesturing for Craig and Maria to follow her down the hallway towards the back of the house. As the three of them step outside, they're greeted by the lively atmosphere in the backyard. Gionni is at the grill, flipping burgers and hot dogs. Michelle, Liz, Tanya, and Nicole are sitting at the patio table, deep in silence. Craig and Maria make their way over to the patio table, greeting everyone enthusiastically. "Hey, happy 4th, guys," Craig says, grinning. Michelle looks up and smiles. "Well, it's about time you two showed up," she jokes playfully. "Yeah, we was starting to wonder if you got lost or decided to throw your own party instead," Tanya teases, sipping her drink. "Nah, we wouldn't miss Cara's party for the world," Craig chuckles, leaning against the table. Maria nods in agreement. "Definitely not. Her parties are always a blast." Liz looks up from her cigarette. "Yeah, but it's a much smaller crowd this year, huh?" she remarks, puffing out a smoke ring. "That's okay," Gionni nodded, dabbing Craig up. "We always still find a way to make the parties fun, even if the circle is small." Craig chuckles, agreeing with Gionni. "Yeah, sometimes smaller parties can be even more intimate and enjoyable." Michelle nods, taking a sip of her drink. "That's true, and there's something nice about just having closer friends around to celebrate with." Tanya chimes in. "It definitely feels more personal this way. We can really focus on each other and have good conversations." "Exactly," Maria exclaims, smiling. "And it's less chaotic, too, which is always a plus in my book." Craig laughs in agreement. "Agreed. Sometimes bigger parties can get a bit overwhelming with so many people around." Gionni nods as he continues grilling. "Plus, we still get to enjoy all the good food and drinks, right?" he adds with a smirk. The doorbell rings one final time, bringing Cara and Gianni's last two guests, Christina and Bill. Cara gets up from her seat again and opens the door. She immediately catches the strong scent of sativa from both Christina and Bill when she gives them a hug. They were both dressed in very festive American flag outfits. Christina's outfit was a bit more skimpier, rather than Bill, who was just wearing a red striped shirt, blue denim shorts, and white shoes. "Hey, ya Cara, how you doing? Happy 4th, Christina chirped, giving Cara a big hug. "Hey, happy 4th, Bill says nonchalantly. "Hey guys," Cara smiled. "What did you bring to the party?" "Big bottle of Pinot Grigio, and we hope you like the weed," Christina says, holding up a bag of pot. Cara's brows thread together as she notices Christina carrying a pot bag. She doesn't think to say anything in the moment, but she's glad they at least brought something. "Oh, that was very nice of you," she comments awkwardly, leading them inside. "I don't smoke pot, but I'm sure Tanya wouldn't mind having a hit or two," Cara chuckled nervously. She was worried about them being too stoned and ruining the party. She leads them down the hall as they chatter and laugh about the event. Once outside, the group at the table paused their conversation to greet both Christina and Bill. The scent of sativa is strong, and so were Christina's crazy eyes as they darted around the table. Michelle raises an eyebrow. "Whoa, you guys came fully prepared," she remarks wryly. "Looks like they brought the party with them." Liz glances over at the pot bag in Christina's hand. "And some extra party favors, too." Tanya can't help but notice the bag of weed in Christina's hand, and anticipation flickers in her eyes. She knows the party is just getting started, and the thought of indulging in a bit of marijuana later adds an extra thrill into the night. She glances at the bag again before chiming in. "Hey, thanks for bringing the party favors. I just might have to join you guys for a session later on." "Do you guys want anything to eat or drink?" Gianni's firing up the grill one last time for burgers, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind making a few more. "We'll get the party started after everyone is done eating," Cara offered. Craig perked up at the mention of burgers. "Oh man, those burgers were amazing earlier. I'll definitely take another one." Maria nodded in agreement. "Ditto. I don't mind having another one either." Bill chimed in, his eyes lighting up at the thought of food. "I could definitely go for a burger. Count me in." "I'll have one too, if that's all right," Christina shouted, a mouthful of fries lingering from her mouth. Michelle chuckled. "Looks like we're all on the same page here. I'll take another one too, if Gionni doesn't mind." Gionni, manning the grill, overhears their conversation and chuckles, clearly amused by their enthusiasm. "No problem, guys, I'll make some more burgers," he replies, grabbing a few more patties from the tray and placing them on the grill. "These won't take too long to cook." As the others chatter amongst themselves, Tanya's eyes kept darting to the bag of weed in Christina's hand, eagerly anticipating the moment when they can all indulge. "So me and Bill just rolled out of this absolute madhouse of a swinger party over in Long Island. No joke, the bouncers straight up handed me weed at the door like it was party favors. Bill, he was over there making friends with every milf in the tri-state area, talking champagne, saying robes, and a lot of questionable stretching. Meanwhile, I was channeling full-on Julie Cooper vibes, lounging with the finance bros and playing the gold digger angle like I majored in it. I swear I was the star of some Bravo spin-off they wouldn't dare put on cable. So yeah, talk about a friggin' night," Christina chuckled loudly and obnoxiously. The group chuckled at Christina's bold declaration, finding humor in her comparison to Julie Cooper, the character from the popular TV show The OC. Liz raised an eyebrow, amused. "Christina, you accepted weed from a man in a mesh tank top at the door? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, that's how cult documentaries start." Tanya laughed heartedly. "I gotta say, that Julie Cooper comment was spot on, Christina." "Wow, sounds like you guys had quite the night at the swingers party," Michelle chuckled. Christina lit up one of Michelle's Marlboros as she continued talking. "Liz, sweetie, this is why I keep you around. You're like my moral GPS that keeps recalculating. But listen, he had good hair and good intentions, okay? Besides, cult documentaries are always about straight people in cabins. I was in sequins and SPF 50. I was safe." The girls chuckled in unison as they shared conversation with Christina. Gionni pulled the burgers off of the grill as Cara stepped off the deck and started getting a fire going by the pool. Christina's voice carries through the conversation as she recounts another story to them. Meanwhile, Tanya takes another puff of the joint, feeling the effects of the weed slowly setting in. She closes her eyes, a lazy grin spread across her face. "Yeah," Christina said, leaning her elbows on the table like she was settling in for story time. "So before I even met Bill, I was living in friggin' Yonkers, right? Working as a bartender when I was friggin' 16. Can you believe it? I met a bunch of great guys who'd buy me drinks all the time. Like, yeah, they were at least 10 years older, but back then, didn't faze me one bit. And let me tell you, there was this one chick I knew from high school. We was in the same damn circle growing up. Real jealous type. So one night, she walks into the bar I was working at, right? Sees me serving drinks and talking up this guy. Turns out it was her ex, but I had no friggin' clue who the guy even was. I was just being friendly. Gosh. This girl, she charges at me. Full-on lunatic mode, starting a straight-up catfight over this one freaking guy. It was totally insane. I socked her right in the face, got suspended, whatever. Should have taken it outside, honestly. The whole thing was friggin' crazy." Christina bursted out laughing, nodding like she still couldn't believe it. "Bartender at 16? Michelle squealed, eyes wide. Cara used to bartend back in New Milford, too. She was in her early 20s, though. Total MILF status back then. That's where I met her. Girl was wild. Ain't that right, Cara?" she said with a smirk toward her friend lounging on the deck. Cara let out a low chuckle, eyes glazed with nostalgia. "Yep, it was this little dive bar in town. Total dump, but kinda charming, you know? Wild days. I remember you'd pop in almost every night." She grinned at Michelle, her voice laced with fondness. Christina snorted, chomped into her burger like she was starving. "Holy shit! You's been friends that long? Damn, that's real ride or die vibes. Me? I don't talk to nobody I grew up with in Yonkers no more. Bunch of frickin' snakes and rats. I can't stand being around any of them." She shook her head, taking a long sip from her Pinot like she deserved an award. Liz chuckled. "I can only imagine the kind of trouble you two got into," she remarked, joining the banter. "Oh yeah, those were some fun times." Michelle and Cara nodded in unison, recalling their early days together. The conversation bubbled up as the girls were talking about their childhoods. Michelle was keeping everyone entertained by sharing details of the roller coaster friendship between her and Cara. The night wore on, and soon Gionni was getting ready to launch the fireworks. The boys had migrated off the deck and were sipping beers while chatting as they enjoyed the music in the yard by the bonfire. Gionni had postponed the fireworks for a bit later, around 10:30 to 11. He wanted the party to go on as long as possible. The girls finished eating and Cara was cleaning up. They started another conversation with Michelle about the situation with Jorge. "So, Michelle," Liz cleared her throat, "tell us more about what happened with Jorge. I mean, it was all love at first sight. Was he just love-bombing you? Like, when did you see the signs that he wasn't interested in you anymore?" Honestly, I should have seen the signs earlier, Michelle confessed, taking a drag of the joint. Looking back, there were moments where he seemed distant or uninterested, but I ignored it because I thought he was just going through a rough patch. I thought if I just gave him enough space, he'd come back to me. Cara chimed in, offering support and understanding. It's easy to overlook things when you're in love. You want to believe the best about someone, even when the signs are there. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I can't really talk because I'm getting a divorce, but we've all been in love before. We know the signs, and sometimes they're not always clear right away. Sometimes you're in too deep before you realize what's going on. Liz sighed, looking down as she began to get emotional. Cara placed a comforting hand on Liz's shoulder as she stewed in silence. Yeah, I thought the signs would have been clear by now. I mean, I've been divorced like 3 times now. I don't know, girls. I was really into him. I don't know what the fuck happened. I guess I just fell for his traps too many times, and I just knew it was too good to be true, and now it's over. Michelle hangs her head. Cara wrapped her arm around Michelle's shoulder, offering comfort to her friend. It's okay, sweetie. Sometimes love can blind us and we end up making mistakes. Tanya chimed in, her voice gentle. But remember, it's not your fault. You deserve someone who appreciates and respects you. Don't beat yourself up over it. Michelle sighed, still looking deflated. I know, but it's just so hard. Tanya reached over and squeezed her hand. But you have to remember that you're worth so much more than what he made you feel. Liz nodded in agreement. And you have us to lean on, too. We're always here for you. Michelle sighed, trying to compose her emotions as she lit a cigarette. Thanks, girls, she nodded. And you know, I'm always here for you, too, Christina chuckled. There's always room for new swingers to join my club, Christina said, high as a kite. The girls chuckled at Christina's comment, amused by her never-ending energy. Yeah, well, I'll keep that in mind, Michelle replied with a smile. You should focus on yourself for now, Cara said, gently nudging Michelle. You deserve time to heal and figure out what you really want in a relationship. Yeah, you're right. My relationships never go anywhere. They're either always ending or never ending. It's fucking annoying. I mean, I went from marrying a fireman, divorced at 22, to marrying a doctor, to divorcing again at 35, and then married again. Way too fast, by the way. Divorced for the 3rd time, dated a fellow coworker, to screwing someone random at the nightclub back in November. And I know, I remember saying, Jorge wasn't really my type. I should have listened to my gut. Michelle shakes her head, regretting her past decisions. I'm just going to be taking a break from dating and relationships, period. I wouldn't mind a little fun here and there, though. A hookup would be nice right now, she trails off, looking at Christina. Is your club taking last strays? She chuckled shyly. Christina chuckled, taking a drag on her joint. Always, sweetie, she replied with a smirk. Liz raised an eyebrow, amused by Michelle's bold suggestion. Sounds like you're ready to dive back in. Cara, always the cautious one, chimed in. Just be careful, yeah? You don't want to catch feelings. Michelle shrugged. I don't know. She paused, taking a bite of watermelon. Speaking from experience, I mean, I was in the process of getting divorced when I met Craig. Everything was happening too fast, and I was unsure of my feelings for him, but once I warmed up to him, I knew it was true love. And true love takes time. You know when you know. Maria smiled at Michelle, grabbing her hand. Michelle smiled back at Maria, appreciating the sentiment. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it takes time to figure things out. Liz nodded in agreement. And sometimes it takes a few bad experiences to really appreciate the good ones when they come along. Cara chimed in. It's never too late to find happiness. You just have to be open to it. Michelle nodded, appreciating the girls' kind words. She smiled as they gave her some more reassurance. The girls continued their chat, and then when 11 o'clock hit, Gionni called them down to watch the fireworks. As the girls stumbled down the stairs, some a little more wasted and high than Cara, they stepped into the yard and pulled up chairs from the patio set to watch the fireworks. A shy Cris tiptoed out of the pool house, joining the girls in unison. As Gionni and the boys prepared the fireworks show, Cara shrieked in surprise when she noticed Cris. Hey, honey, she smiled as she grabbed a chair for Cris to sit on. Hey, girls, Cris says, sighing. I'm sorry, I really wanted to join earlier, but I got my period this morning and I haven't been feeling good. I feel like an emo teenager locked in that room. I'm glad I got into the fresh air. I feel better now, Cris says, wiping her lips. The girls smiled kindly at Cris, empathetic to her situation. Aw, well, we're glad you're out here now, Cara said, patting Cris on the shoulder. Period cramps are the worst. The girls waited patiently for Gionni to start the fireworks show. The boys were gazing over Gianni's different choices for the fireworks. Rockets, comets, crossets, ground spinners, smoke bombs, sparklers, dragon's eggs, and a couple of firework assortment packages which contained about 10 different things to launch. All right, Gionni yelled, waving his hands to the audience of the girls. As you all can see here, I got a couple volunteers that will be helping me launch the fireworks tonight, he chuckled. After the show is over, which will be a good
30 to 35 minutes. I have an arrangement of desserts planned for afterward, but all will be revealed shortly. Patience is key. Now, let the show begin." The girls cheered as the first rocket launched into the air, exploding into a burst of colorful sparks. They oohed and awed in amazement as Gionni and the boys continued to launch more fireworks, each one more spectacular than the last. Cara watched in awe, a smile spreading across her face as she watched the sparkling show. The sparks illuminated the faces of the girls, shining in their eyes. Meanwhile, Bill and Craig chuckled at their reactions, knowing they were going to have to listen to them talk about the fireworks for days. As the fireworks show continued, the girls marveled at the colorful display. The sky was illuminated with a dazzling array of lights and sparks reflecting on their faces in amazement. Liz leaned over to Michelle and nudged her. "This is amazing," she whispered, her eyes glued to the sky. "Gionni always gives the best shows." Michelle nodded in agreement. "Yeah, it's always worth the wait. I can't get over the colors." Meanwhile, the boys watched the girls' reactions with amusement, chuckling at their wide-eyed expressions. The audience watched in awe as Gionni and the boys launched different assortments of fireworks into the sky. Each one was more spectacular than the last. Tanya pointed to the one that sparkled like a star. "That one's pretty," she smiled. Liz nodded, her gaze fixed skyward. "They're all so cool." Craig chuckled, leaning over to Bill. "Looks like the girls are enjoying themselves." Gionni nodded in agreement. "Yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the best part yet." As the girls marveled at the sky, Cris joined in with her own comments. "Wow, these are all so beautiful," Cris said, her eyes wide with amazement. "I can't believe how many colors there are." Cara smiled, her own eyes fixed on the sky. "Yeah, and Gionni always chooses the best ones." Meanwhile, Bill and Craig sipped on their beers as they watched the girls react to the fireworks. Bill chuckled softly. "They get so excited every time," he remarked to Craig. As the final fireworks lit up the sky, Gionni handed out sparklers to the girls. "Here you go, ladies," he grinned. The girls grabbed sparklers and lit them, twirling and laughing. "Woo!" Liz yelled, swinging her sparkler in the air. "These are fun every year." Cara twirled her sparkler, watching as the sparks danced around in the air. It really wouldn't be a 4th of July party without the sparklers. The girls continued to twirl their sparklers, their faces lit up with excitement. "Look at us, we're all like little children again," Michelle laughed, twirling her sparkler with a grin. Liz chuckled in agreement. "Yeah, but who cares? It's fun." Tanya nodded as she made a circle with her sparkler, creating a ring. Sometimes it's good to let go and be silly. The sparklers soon fizzled out, but the girls were still smiling. "Now for the finale," Gionni announced, standing to the side of the fireworks. "Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Gionni pressed a button and a burst of color filled the sky. "Whoa!" the girls gasped in unison. Cara watched in amazement, the fireworks illuminating her face. "It's so beautiful!" The fireworks continued to fill the sky, each one more spectacular than the last. "Wow," Michelle murmured, watching the colors burst in front of her. Liz stared up at the sky, mesmerized. "It's so vivid." Tanya grinned, holding up her phone to record the finale. "I gotta get a video of this!" After the last of the fireworks fizzled out, the girls clapped and cheered. "That was so amazing!" Michelle exclaimed, still staring at the sky. Liz nodded in agreement. "Gionni really outdid himself this year." Tanya laughed, looking at her phone screen. "I got some awesome videos." Cara wiped a tear from her eyes. "It was so beautiful," she smiled, turning to Gionni. "You always do great with the fireworks. Thank you." She planted a kiss on his forehead. Maria, Nicole, and Christina all clapped in unison with the other girls. They were truly amazed. "That was fucking amazing! The best fireworks show I've ever been to!" Christina smiled widely. Cris clapped calmly, showing her gratitude to Gionni and the boys for planning the show. Gionni chuckled, nodding modestly. "Thanks, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad you guys all enjoyed it." Bill and Craig walked over, joining the group. "You really outdid yourself this year, man," Bill said, patting Gionni on the back. Craig nodded. "Yeah, those were some cool fireworks." Okay, this is terrible, bro.